Hi, I'm Brad Vermeer, Senior Manager, Government Relations and Policy here at the FPA. Just wanting to do a quick roundup of some of the things that happened in 2021 in Parliament and in government, and some of the things we can look forward to in 2022. Importantly, a number of reforms in our profession have been introduced, and some have passed the Parliament during this year. For example, the single disciplinary body, which will come into force on the 1st of January 2022, and the introduction of legislation to establish a compensation scheme of last resort. Now, the particular legislation that's been introduced by the government to establish a CSLR would see consumers go unprotected and financial planners footing the bill, and that's why the FPA has consistently been calling, and now with a number of other industry and consumer bodies, to have the base of the scheme broadened out to mimic that of the jurisdiction of AFCA. This will mean that the funding base is far fairer and ensures that financial planners aren't the only ones who will be footing the bill, and making sure that consumers are adequately protected, and that the recommendations of the Hayne Royal Commission to establish this scheme in the first place are honoured and the intentions are adhered to. And that's why we're working with the government and the crossbench and the opposition to make sure that we get the outcome we're after on this particular piece of legislation. The government has released its sitting calendar for 2022. And as we move towards the next federal election, there could be as few as 10 sitting days in the House of Representatives and 5 sitting days in the Senate, meaning there's not a lot of time left for a number of pieces of legislation to be considered by the Parliament, with a budget being handed down on the 29th of March next year. But there's also the opportunity for us to put forward our pre-budget submissions, which are due on the 28th of January, which will enable us to highlight some of the things we'd like to see out of the budget, but also put forward a number of the things we'd like to ask for as we move towards the next election. And if you'd like to contribute to our submission on this particular item, you can join the conversation on FPA Community and put forward your thoughts on some of the things we can ask from government in the next budget, and what we can ask for as we move towards the next election. As far as the compensation scheme of last resort is concerned, there is a Senate committee inquiry into these bills, which will report on the 15th of February next year. And we'll be putting in a submission which is due on the 17th of December this year for the committee's consideration. But we're also appearing again next Wednesday, the 15th of December, before the Senate Economics References Committee inquiry into the Sterling Group collapse, and particularly how a compensation scheme of last resort might be able to remedy those types of collapses and the effects that they have on consumers into the future. So these are opportunities for us to put forward our ideas and put forward a number of the FPA's policy platform items before the decision makers, before government, and hoping that it will contribute once again to an outcome that we would like to see. We've had wins this year before, such as the ASIC levy freeze, and this is another opportunity for us to put forward our strong voice for the profession, and also to ensure that consumers receive the protection that they should have. It's important for us to keep up the pressure on the compensation scheme of last resort and a whole other range of issues. If you want some more information on these particular issues, you can have a look on FPA Community. There's advocacy kits and also information on a number of other changes that the government has made this year. But we're moving towards the next federal election, which will likely be in April or more likely May. And there'll be opportunities for us to put forward our wish list at that particular time. So again, if you have any particular submissions you'd like to make on that issue, you can get in touch with us via FPA Community or email us here at the FPA. It's been a great opportunity to come and start with the FPA this year and get to work with you all on making sure that our profession has the representation that it deserves in Canberra. And I look forward to working with you next year to make sure we're getting the right outcomes for our profession. I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I look forward to seeing you in 2022. Thank you.